o'clock, I would like to call this planning commission meeting to order. We ask if you have any cell phones or any other devices, please turn them off so not to disrupt the meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. You want to do the,
No, let's go ahead and do that. First, why don't we get that?
First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from September 9th.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any questions, comments, or concerns on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the minutes are approved.
Mr. President, before we get into tonight's agenda, I would like to welcome, we have three young ladies here. They are part of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Board. They're all from Western High School. Ella Stranahan, Elise Wittenbach, and Julia Watson. They're all, if you ladies want to stand. It's certainly good to see young people getting involved in government, so welcome. If you have any questions before or after the meeting, be sure and ask us, or anytime you can call Jessica or myself at the office. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So, thank you for wanting to be part of the Planning Commission. So with that being said, Mr. President, first item on the agenda is case P11, P25, and the petition of Adam Hoffer requesting approval of primary and final plat for Lakeside Place multifamily development. This is one lot containing 10.42 acres.
Move to approve?
Second.
Is someone here to represent this case?
Good evening. My name's Eric Woodmancy with Vitrion Group, taking the place of Adam Hoffer.
Can we have your address, please? Business is fine.
I'll have to get I don't know the P.O. Box something in Apples. I don't know it off the top of my head. 712 Arletta Glen Drive at Gas City is my address.
I don't want-
Yeah, so we're here for primary plat approval.
John, do we have any questions from plat?
No, I didn't have anything on my list for this.
I'm sorry. I was talking with Jessica before the meeting. We do have an 18 by 24 plat to bring up. We'll have that up here tomorrow for signatures.
Okay.
Okay.
That was an oversight on our part for get that printed out.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P11, P25, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Director Sheila.
This case is case P08A25, petition of Eric Woodmancy requesting development plan approval for Lakeside Place. This is, again, the 10.42 acres that we just approved the plat for.
Move to approve.
Second?
Yep, again, Eric Woodmancy, Vitrion Group, 712 Arletta Glen Drive, Gas City. Yeah, we've got a development in front of you for multifamily, 228 units with all associated parking, utilities, and so on and so forth. We look for approval on that development plan. I'll answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Please go forward.
Where's this going in now?
No.
Sir, if you're going to speak, you have to come to the microphone. Sorry. This is being recorded.
My name is Francisco Cantu. I live at 1233 East Taylor Street. Where's this going in at?
Yeah, this will be at the corner of Boulevard and Berkeley.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board before I call for a vote?
I think we answered this before, but these aren't low, and are these low income housing or at market rate?
Market
That's what I
rate.
thought.
Market
Thank you.
rate.
Yep.
Any other questions from the board? All in favor of case P08A25, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is approved. Director Sheila.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is case P12, P25, petition of Serrano Wonder Lick LLC, requesting approval of the primary and final plat for Wonder Lick subdivision. This is one lot containing 4 acres.
Move to approve.
Second?
Someone here to represent this case, please come forward.
Yes, good evening, Board. Jason Henderson, 108 Freedom Court, Kokomo, Indiana, 46902. here on behalf for the Wunderlich subdivision. It is currently a tract that's on Dixon Creek that's zoned C2, and we've been through the primary or the technical review. We addressed some things that the engineer's office had, and we are obviously here seeking primary and final plat approval this evening. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Everything's good from plat.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P12P25, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you, Board.
Director Sheehan.
Next case, Mr. President, is case T09A25. The petition of Trip Engineering Consulting requesting development plan approval for S&W Garden Center. Again, this is the 4 acres that we just approved the plat on.
Move to approve.
Second.
Tori Tripp, Tripp Engineering Consulting, 401 South Second Street, Converse, representing S&W Garden Center. This is located on Dixon Road between Zartman and Alto. It'll include a little more than 6,000 square foot building, and it'll have a 1,450 square foot greenhouse plus drives and parking. And then I can answer any questions the board has.
I think everything's good. Yep, everything's good from plat. Yeah.
Any questions from the board on plat? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P09A25, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Director Sheehan.
The next case, Mr. President, is case P24-Z-25. Petition of Devin and Rachel McElvin, Real Estate Group, requesting Kokomo City Plan Commission. Petitioner recommended the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from R4 medium density urban residential to R5 high density urban residential.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Someone here to represent this case?
Hi, Rachel McElveen. I just give you guys the address of the property. So it's for 521 South Main Street. And we're looking to rezone from current R4 to R5. The lots that are to the east, or to the north and south, they are zoned R4. However, they've been grandfathered in. They actually serve as like multi-family units as it stands. So this would, what we're wanting to do is a townhouse duplex that would serve multiple families, obviously, which would coincide with the properties adjacent to each side. Any questions?
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
The staff report for case P24Z25, Devin and Rachel, on behalf of the McElveen Real Estate Group LLC, is requesting a change in zone classification. The purpose for the request is to build a townhouse-style duplex. In addition to the rezoning, the City of Kokomo zoning ordinance requires a special exception for the use. Adjoining property zonings are to the north R4 urban residential, to the south R4, to the east R4, and to the west LI low-intensity industrial business park. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, the parcel located at 521 South Main Street is located in an area designated for high-density residential. High-density residential is classified single-family and multifamily housing of varying types over 6 dwelling units per acre. Typical high-density housing would be townhomes, cluster housing, apartments, and condominiums. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development, to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the City of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, these parcels are primarily located on 521 South Main Street, which is defined as being a local street. A local street is designed primarily to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. The traffic count for this area of 521 South Main Street is 221 cars per day. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report. Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P24Z25, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. It will now go to the Common Council, represented there by Councilman Greenfield.
The next case, Mr. President, is case P25Z25, petitioner Jason Urban, requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition and recommended the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from R4 medium density urban residential to M2 general multifamily residential. These are, let's see here, lots 130, 131, 132, 33, 134, 134A, and an extension of lots 144, 145, and 146 on 1.3 acres more or less.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Mayor, represent this case.
Good evening, members of the Plan Commission. Paul Wyman, 1533 West Lincoln Road, Kokomo, Indiana. Coming down, passing out to each one of you is an aerial shot that kind of shows the 9 lots that we'll be discussing this evening. So basically, my client, Mr. Urban, owns these lots. And as you can see by the aerial, the lots are divided by Morgan Street and an alley. And the section of Morgan Street that divides the top 6 lots is overgrown, really doesn't exist today. If you were to drive there, it's not like you could drive down Morgan Street. And the alley that separates the bottom 6 lots is in the same condition. It's not drivable, it's overgrown. And we've seen this from time to time over 20, 30, 40, 50 years over time when alleys and old roads and lots get grown over. This tends to be the scenario. And so Mr. Urban's looking at his 9 lots, and the 6th of them to the top, or call it the north, have very little value because of the accessibility. Morgan Street's really gone, the alley's not there. And so he was trying to figure out a way to maximize the value of his property. And currently, the bottom lot, it's hard to see on this aerial, but the bottom 3 on the drawing that you have in the very middle is a very old, dilapidated home. And it's in very bad condition and probably needs to be torn down. So in the discussion of trying to figure out how to maximize value of the property, he determined that if we could vacate the alley, vacate that section of Morgan Street, put these lots together, there may be an opportunity to build some duplexes and do some either market rate rentals or actual, maybe even ownership of duplex units. And if you put all these lots together with the vacating of the road and the alley, it comes to a little over an acre, about 1.3. And then that would be conducive for an opportunity to drop several duplex units in here. So he's looking at that. We're talking to some other people that might have an opportunity to build those as well. But that's kind of the plan here, is to take a large portion of his property that really doesn't have much value, figure out a way to maximize the value, figure out a way to get rid of a dilapidated home that's really hurting the neighborhood, and then find a way to build on this property that would actually create value for the neighborhood and help stabilize or bring up some other property values as well. So that's kind of the plan. We do have a petition to vacate that alley in Morgan Street, and so far we've received some very good feedback from the city of Kokomo regarding that, and I believe that hearing is coming up as well for the vacation of those 2 items. So that would be the plan when it's all said and done, to have multifamily, that he'd be able to do some sort of townhome or multifamily duplex, something along those lines.
Do you have any feel for how many units?
We don't. We have not gone to the extent of hiring the fine folks behind me that come and present to lay out those site plans. But should we get the approval, we would take that next step and do it. In my experience on an acre like this, you'd probably be able to get 3 to 5 that would look good and feel good from a spacing standpoint. The real interesting thing about this property is that the design of it, it's a lot deeper than it is narrow. And so that's why really to do this multifamily zoning, to give us an opportunity to drop a road in and go back and put multifamily as opposed to just keeping one really deep lot that's not going to have value to build a new home on.
Is there a better way to do this? Maybe see if the closure of the roads are gonna take place and we can join these instead of turning them all into M2 first? Because if the other parts don't come into play, then it would make this irrelevant.
I believe that's gonna be heard on the 20th? The next council meeting, so it's all lined up, so but I agree.
Should we make it,
We would be fine with a condition on an approval tonight, subject to the vacation.
The other part of that, though, is what's coming from us as a recommendation to council, and that's who's going to hear the vacation of those items.
Correct.
so we could make it conditional? I can amend my motion to make it conditional upon approval from council?
You could make the recommendation that the approval be contingent.
Okay. I amend my motion to make my recommendation contingent upon approval from city council? Did I say that correctly?
Of the
Of
vacation.
the alleyway and the road closure,
Vacation,
correct?
Yes.
I think I seconded all and then my second.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheehan.
Yeah, staff report for case P 25Z25, Paul Wyman on behalf of Jason Urban is requesting change in zone classification. The purpose for the rezoning request is to implement multifamily housing. The requested zoning is compatible with the neighboring zones, which border the cited parcels. The adjoining property zonings are to the north, LI Low Intensity Industrial Business Park and the R4 Urban Residential. To the south and east, both R4, and to the west, MI Moderate Intensity Industrial, Light Manufacturing, and NC Neighborhood Commercial. According to the City of Kokomo's plan future land use map, the 10 site parcels are located in an area designated for medium-density residential. This area allows for single-family housing of various types between 3 to 6 non-units per acre. Typical high-density housing would be single-family detached duplexes, triplexes, condominiums, townhomes, and cluster housing. Land use goals are encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life of residents in the city of Kokomo while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses, to designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety, function, and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of East Jefferson Street is defined as being a minor arterial. A minor arterial is a street that collects and distributes traffic to and from collector and primary arterial streets. The traffic count for this area of East Jefferson Street is 2,883 cars per day. The staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report.
I'm gonna dance back to this real quick. So essentially, the density would be less than what it currently would be. I mean, you have 6 lots, potentially 6 units. It wouldn't, the density shouldn't be greater than that in what you're looking at.
I wouldn't think so. If they could figure out a way to do it a little bit more, great, but my gut tells me the way the lot is designed that it wouldn't be that way.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Questions from the audience?
Same place. all right? And we're talking about on Jefferson,
I need name and address before you start.
I'm
Name-
sorry,
Name and address before you start.
Galindo, 1223 Jefferson, Kokomo. P25Z25, is that correct? I mean, I'm having some hearing issues, and I know that everybody's speaking very lowly today for us hard of hearing folks, you know? I hear this only mic happening in the whole building, it seems like. That's kind of hard for me to understand what you were saying a little while ago. So I'm kind of lost on actually what all occurred here right now. I just can only come up and say, you know, this is a building that's probably coming up in my neighborhood, right across the street, actually. And it's one of the things that when I moved there, it was all residential. I would ask my man here, how would he like it up for a building that size to go up across your street, you know? Or right next to your house, you know?
we're talking about the same thing.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about.
It's okay.
See, I'm understanding a multifamily,
We're talking about housing,
multifamily housing. Okay, okay, a house, I'm just talking about multifamily housing, okay? Like we have on Jefferson and Apperson? Is that what we're talking about?
He's talking about
He's
duplex.
thinking you're talking about a big apartment complex.
I mean, I want to understand what you're talking about. Yeah, I want to understand what we're talking about here, can I say?
Sure, yeah, this is not an apartment complex. This is not an apartment complex.
What are we talking about? I mean, if it's not an apartment complex, I'm sorry.
Like a duplex, like you'd have a
Side by
garage
side.
here and a garage here, and two homes that are connected in the middle.
And you're selling them or you're renting them? Is that the, I mean.
Either or.
Okay.
Yeah, either or.
Okay, because I heard you say something like that, so
Yeah.
I was just trying to understand what was going on, because I'm understanding that there's a multifamily residential units going up, you know?
I see. Okay.
And so I'm here to understand what was going on in my neighborhood, and I'm
That's fair.
catching
That's
wind of it,
fair.
you know? So,
And that's
all
where my question was how many units they were proposing, what the density would be.
right,
And so right now, there's 6 lots, so as they sit now, you could potentially have 6 homes on those lots.
is it,
They're
yes,
saying that they're anticipating somewhere in the 3 to 5 unit range, so it wouldn't be a more dense population than what it's already looking at.
all right. So you're saying 3
Yeah.
townhouses?
Yeah, like an apartment complex could not fit on this lot. It's too small.
Yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing, how far up we can go or whatever, you know? I'm just knowing that I'm understanding this to be happening in my neighborhood, you know?
That's fair.
So,
They haven't quite got to that point yet. All this is rezoning. So the future development and all those plans, the engineering of all that, that'll come at a later date. So
Yes.
this is just a rezone in order to be able to build that. Then they'll come back and request all the engineering and all that.
And there will be, when it gets to that point, there will be more public meetings that you'll be noticed for on
Yes.
public meetings
All
to
right.
show that there's gonna be a site plan and here's what's being built, and you'd have an opportunity to come back and say, hey,
Address.
I don't like this for that reason, or whatever, yeah.
okay, it sounds like I said I'm catching a little bit.
It's okay, it's okay.
Again, just small duplexes, like 2-family homes, not big apartments.
Any other questions from the audience? Please.
Because that's what he needs to look for.
Forgive me if I don't walk over there. I think my voice is loud enough. You can hear me.
For the record, yeah, I think in your circumstance, that's fine. If you can just give us your name and address.
My name is Bernice Fisher, and I live at 1251 East Jefferson Street. I want to know when you make this change as far as the zoning, how is that going to affect our taxes, and how will that affect our property, the value of our property?
You want me to address that, or you gonna?
You can, or I can address it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a couple things. It shouldn't have any impact on your taxes. The taxes for this property will be assessed based on the value of whatever's on this property, okay? So it won't have a direct impact on your taxes. As far as the value of your property, it's certainly our belief that the value of your property would be improved and it would be helped, because right now there is a house on this property that's very dilapidated, and the goal would be for that house to go away and to build brand new housing. And so when you're building brand new housing, that increases value, and it's our belief that it would increase value in the neighborhood.
Okay, the other part of this is, I've lived there since I was like 3 years old.
Sure.
We had 1261 and 1251, which we split it up. There's some other neighbors that's lived in the neighborhood for as long as I have.
Sure.
We are a close community.
Yeah.
We really are worried about who you bring in, how many people you bring in, because at this point, it's like, if something happens to one of us, one call can be made, and the neighborhood knows,
Yeah.
and they rally together to
Sure.
take care of each other. So, our concern is, have you thought about maybe just replacing the 4 lots? Because if I'm correct, I remember there were 4 houses there, you know, the Wrights, the Russos, the Washingtons, just replacing them with houses versus a condo type of situation.
Yeah, it certainly could be an option, and I'll certainly ask the owner if he would consider that, or anybody that's looking to do a build project on the property. We would gladly suggest, could they do some single family as opposed to duplexes?
Only because, like
Yeah.
I said, we have senior citizens there, we have
Yeah.
some people who are mentally challenged, and with everybody knowing everybody in the neighborhood, it's like I said, we are a close community where we take care of each other.
Yeah, I love
You
that.
know, somebody's garage door was open and she was going to work, but she didn't know it, but we can reach out, we can touch, you know?
Yeah.
And we don't want to lose that close relationship that all of us have that are here.
Yeah,
And we want to make sure that what you bring in is positive,
yes.
not negative. That we can walk out, there's not too many communities where, hey, I can leave my door open, I can
Sure.
go across the street and I can spend the night and I ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
love that.
So, that is one of the big concerns we have on Jefferson Street.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
My name is Andrique, 1307 East Jefferson Street. That's all you need?
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of what I want to ask. Is this going to be income-based? Is it going to be high class, high type of places? Because, again, I'm leery of the type in our neighborhood that you're going to bring in.
My understanding is it's all market rate, sir.
What's that mean?
It's market rate.
Not low income.
It's
It's
not
not-
low income.
Okay.
It's not subsidized.
It's not subsidized housing, it's market rate housing.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yes, sir.
Fits with the environment.
Any other questions from the audience?
Yes, my name is Byron Bundard. I live at 320 East Mulberry Street. I have a house at 1228 East Jefferson Street and a lot at 1230 East Jefferson Street. One thing we're concerned about is rezoning it and then somebody coming in and deciding instead of putting duplexes, they're going to put a high rise. I mean, it might not be big enough to put, a big apartment complex, but you can build up and add more units. So that's one thing we're concerned about also.
They can't get more than 15.
15 is quite a bit.
Even after the rezoning, 15 is the max.
15 is quite a few for that number.
To show parking to,
Correct.
I mean, that.
It would be
that's-
difficult to get 15 units on
Right.
this particular footprint, but the
Well,
zoning would allow up to 15, and that would be the max without doing something, another set of meetings, another round of meetings.
But
Correct me
that's
if I'm
assuming
wrong.
you had enough parking, that you met all the conditions. I mean,
Correct.
it's, yeah.
It's gonna be hard to do
Yeah,
on
and,
an
and
acre and a
somebody
half.
could put 9, the way I'm looking at it, we keep throwing around 6, I'm seeing 9 lots, individual lots. Somebody
yeah,
could put
yeah,
9 homes out there right now if they could figure out the access issue, which may very well be cost prohibitive to Paul's point, but, right now there are 9 lots, so you could put 9, and the maximum of M2 would allow 15, an increase of 6.
Okay, well, I'm just saying 9 lots, that seems like enough space to build. I mean, you might not be able to build out, but can't you build up and add
Yeah,
more?
it's not 15 per floor, it's just 15 period. So, I mean, even if they could build, to the heavens, and they'd still have to come back and get another round of meetings. So,
Well, I understand that, but as far as rezoning, yeah, they have to come back for another meeting, but that can be approved once it's rezoned though, right?
Not more than 15 units.
Not more than
The
15.
the zoning,
The zoning only allows
they're
15.
asking for caps out at 15. That's all they can do.
The actual plan, so when there's a solid plan, like Mr. Wyman alluded to, he's gotta go through engineering, plating, and so there'll be at least 2 more public hearing, or 2 more public meetings, just like the first 2 cases where we went through plat and development plan for approval. You'll get noticed, everybody that's here for this case will get noticed again for those 2. And that development plan will have, whether that's apartments or whether it's duplexes as he states today, that would be probably the best time for, if you're worried about going vertical as he stated, right?
Okay, well, I understand that, but all I'm concerned about is once you get that rezoned, I mean, you can say duplex all you want, but once that ball gets rolling, it's kind of hard to stop, you know, no matter how many public hearings you have.
The zoning has a height limit also, doesn't it? Yes.
It has a height limit, but I don't know, it's probably 40 feet.
So even if it changed from duplexes to Mr. Pike's comment about being units that are all together, it's capped at 15. You could not do more than 15. To Councilman Griefu's point, I don't know as you could get 15 on the 1.3 acres and have ample parking and all that. So even if you're pushed down to closer to 9 units, if it was one building, you could put 9 separate homes on there right now.
So that's what the rezoning is gonna specify?
Yeah, it already does.
All right.
It already has in there that it's a cap of 15. I just don't know if you could get 15 on this size because of the parking requirements and the design of the lot. The lot is, it's very narrow and long. And so what ends up happening is it stretches back. That's why we think the duplexes or some other opportunity makes sense to have a road to go back and touch the duplexes. But right now, you could do 9 separate homes. So if the cap is 15, we don't think we can get to 15. It shouldn't be any more impacting than what's already there right now from a housing standpoint. It just allows for the duplex or the other type of multifamily to be built there as opposed to 9 single-family homes.
All right, single-family home sounds good to me.
I understand, and I don't want to say that it may not wait, by getting all of this put together, maybe that design ends up working out better, but I just don't know if it will. But there is not going to be this large apartment complex on this property. It's not conducive for it, can't fit it, and can't do it under the zoning.
That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Anyone else in the audience, please?
Hello, I'm Bill Scales. I'm 2019 North Purdom Street. I own the building beside the woods that they're going to build that in, and all I want to know is like where the roads and the access are going to be for it.
We haven't got to that point.
Okay.
So this is just for the rezoning.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
okay.
we'll get to that point during the site plan approval.
Well-
And you'll all be notified of that again.
That's fine.
Yep.
Now, there's more issues than I thought because I was gonna buy that one time and, there's a lot of big sewer lines around there, 10-foot deep sewers that they said you can't build on top of, so they may check into that. There's some.
That'll come up when they actually present their plan.
But I think where he's at, it's a little different, but it's right by the city dump, and I don't know why you'd want to build there, the way it smells, you know, so I'm just warning you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else in the audience?
Claudette Roberts, 1248 East Jefferson. If we object to this, what is our steps for that?
Say it again, please.
If you reject, if you don't want the zoning change, what is our procedures for that?
This is a recommendation board, so we usually give favorable or unfavorable recommendation, and then
She or other members in the community object to it, how do they voice that opinion?
They can come, you can come to the city council. If we get a favorable recommendation tonight, it will be forwarded to the city council, and that's where you would go to the
Okay.
Councilman,
You can state your objection here now on the record. I mean, you can tell us what your concerns are now.
Councilman, tell her when the next council meeting where this would be heard is, so they can mark their calendar.
Jessica, we'll have this forwarded to be able to be a part of the 20th.
Probably not, because I have to have those ordinances to Diane by Thursday.
So we would say the 27th of this month is the next, will be the city council meeting that will hear this rezoning. Okay?
The 20th,
27th of this
Monday,
month.
Monday the 27th at 6 o'clock here in council chambers is when it'll be heard by the council. But please, if you have objection,
Yeah, let us know now.
now what
I
your
reject
objections are.
because I don't know what's going on and I don't know. They're saying one thing, but it's adding up every time y'all say something. So yes, I do reject.
Well, I guess I don't understand how it's added.
Because you started off with 3 or 4, now we're up to 6 to 15.
No, what we're saying is.
15 is the maximum.
That's the
Yeah, I
most
know,
that
I
we put
understand.
in. That's not been any discussions that I've been involved in.
But once you zone it, that means it's whatever they want.
No.
No. That means they could go up to 15 units. That's the most they could put in.
No, I'm talking about the zoning period. If y'all zone it today, saying it's okay, that's it, right? We can't protest against
it
that.
has to get
This
approved by
board
city
makes a
council.
recommendation to the city council.
Okay.
The city council will hear this in 2 different readings, so there's gonna be 2 opportunities to come to city council. And then the decision is made for that. This has been passed on the first reading, then it's heard the second time. If it would be passed after the second reading, then it's rezoned. But even if that all is true, they have to come back with their plans before this board, and again, in a public meeting that you'll be notified about, and get approval. And in order to get approval for whatever they choose to build, not only does it have to fit within the maximum amount of units that they're allowed to build on the property, but it also has to fit within the setbacks that are required. It has to meet the parking requirements that are required within that zone. So they can't just go in and pack as many units as they can physically fit onto the lot. They have to follow all of the ordinance that goes with this rezoning. So the rezoning says that there's a maximum of 15 units. But that 15 units is true whether it was 1.3 acres or 2 acres or, so it's not that they magically get 15 units on this property. They have to actually do it in a way that makes it that it is conducive. So it's, they don't walk out of here tonight and go back and say, yeah, we're definitely building 15 units, we don't care what the neighbors think. That's not how this works at all.
So if you pass it today, that means it's zoned in.
That means it's gonna go forward to the city council to be heard again.
City council has final say on this.
And that case will be heard on the 27th here in this room at 6 o'clock.
Keith, 1245 East Jefferson Street. And I guess my question is, to piggyback off the gentleman back here, is the type of renters we're gonna get in there. Now, the property is sitting right on the city dump. There's nobody great break their neck to come in to move by the city dump. We know where we at. We're on Jefferson Street. You say market value. I'm thinking we're gonna get under market value renters in our neighborhood. We don't know who we're gonna get in there. We're not gonna get any high-end renters to move in by the dump. None of you guys would consider moving in this property over there by that dump. Nobody in here would. So let's not fool ourselves and think that we great get some really upstanding citizens moving in on Jefferson Street. That's just my concern. I got kids, small kids. Our neighborhood is full of small kids. And just to bring in a whole even five families that we don't know nothing about, you know what I'm saying? And we know where they're moving to, and we know where they're moving to the hood. They're moving right in the hood, and we're not going to get no high-end renters moving to the hood next to the dump. That's just all I'm saying.
I don't think anyone ever said high-end renters, we said market rate. And we don't know for sure yet if it's gonna be rental or homes for sale. They're not sure yet.
Or Section 8, or...
No,
That's not even in consideration.
No, that's not in consideration. Okay?
That's my concern.
All right, thanks, sir.
You guys said that the council meeting will either be October 20th or the 27th.
It will be the 27th.
100%.
100%.
It will not be heard until the 27th.
Okay. That's all I want to
We get skeptical about hitting the 20th.
We can't get
so
the
that's why we
paperwork to
said
them
the
fast
27th.
enough.
Okay.
20th.
Yeah, I prepared those documents and I'm off on Friday, so.
She's good, but she's not that good.
Hey now.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board?
I will say before your vacation hearing, you may have somebody do a little due diligence on where your driveway is gonna be located. Cause with Jefferson being an arterial, there's some restrictions on where the driveway can be placed. And I'll be pretty strict on that. So make sure that you can get that access there before you give up on extending more. So I would caution you.
You'd only need one access though, right?
Right, but with an arterial.
Access there, right? Off of Jefferson. 'Cause the
Yeah,
house
but you're
is-
changing the use of it, so that's tantamount to a new driveway. So it has to meet all of the characteristics that an arterial would, so. I mean, I'm not saying it's an impossibility, but you're gonna wanna do a little due diligence before you give up on the access to the motor.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board?
There's none.
Name's still Byron Bonder, same address.
Good.
Okay, well, I hear a lot of skipping around, you know, a lot of the questions that's been asked, like property taxes going up. I mean, all I hear is your value's gonna go up. So what does that mean, property
No,
taxes?
That's not what was said. What was said, the lady asked if it was going to affect her taxes, and it will not affect her taxes, it won't affect your taxes.
I also heard that it'll increase her property value, right?
Yeah, and what that means is if you ever sell your house, you can ask
Yeah,
more to sell
and
your
what
house.
it also means is her property taxes will go up, right?
No, that's not what that means.
When it's reassessed, it won't go up? When it's reassessed, it won't go up?
Property values in general are going to continue to rise. I mean, yes, people's property values are going to be
But the fact,
adjusted.
okay.
I mean, if your neighbor paints their house and cleans up their yard, that can ultimately affect your property value because they cleaned up their property. I mean, yes, those things can all play into it, but this is not going to have a significant direct effect on property values to where it's going to be a sizable difference in property tax.
Well, that's what-
This should not have a direct correlation to property.
Well, that's all we wanted to hear. I mean, are they gonna go up or not? Not skipping around, you know, the value's gonna go up and all that. We know that the value's gonna go up, but we also know the property tax is gonna go up, whether it's a small increase or a large increase. A lot of us can't afford even a small increase.
Yeah.
We're on Social Security.
The focus of this board should make sure that it's not gonna adversely affect property values. That should be the focus of this board, not necessarily whether or not the values would go up, because ultimately, that's the hope, right?
Well, we understand what the focus is, but we also understand that anything can change, you know, and we're just trying to get a straight answer, and we're probably not gonna get that. We're getting a lot of skipping around
You're gonna get about as
questions
straight
and all
answer
that.
as anybody's gonna give you from me.
I know I am, and that's what we got, as straight as answer as we're gonna get from you. And to me, it's still skipping around the true answer that we've been asking.
I guess I don't understand where you're coming from with that. I think we've answered everything that you've asked us tonight per what the zoning ordinance says. What they're suggesting right is possibly 4 or 5 units on this, but with the zoning ordinance, they could go up to 15 units.
Right.
But I don't think there's gonna be enough room there for that, number one, with setbacks and everything else. So we won't know that until we get an actual site plan that shows how many units, and then our board, my office, engineering, we all look at that, we make sure that all the setbacks are per our zoning ordinance, and if they're not, we would come back and say, you can't have that many units, this is how many units you can have.
Okay.
So it's hard to say exactly how many until we see a site plan.
Right.
Okay?
So to us, you talking backwards. It seems to us you ought to go get a site plan and then come back and for the
You have to
rezoning.
make sure you get the rezoning first, because if you don't get the rezoning, you couldn't build the house, you couldn't build the duplexes there anyway.
You
Because it's
can't-
not multifamily.
can't get a
So
pl-
you have to get the rezoning first.
So you can't figure out what a plan might be.
Do you realize how much money that costs someone? They're not going to put
Well,
that,
well,
I'm just saying, most people aren't going to put that kind of money into a project until they know that the rezoning is correct, that they can move forward with that. Because it costs a lot of money to hire people who put those types of plans together.
I understand that. So why should we have to suffer the consequences because they don't want to pay the money?
Well, number
We
one,
might end up paying.
I'm not sure where you're saying you're suffering the consequences, because as been said here so many times tonight, this is not the final hearing. There's
Well, like-
going to be other public hearings that if you have issues or problems with, you can certainly come to it. I mean,
I
that's,
understand that, but like you said, nobody knows yet what the outcome is going to be.
Well, that's the nature of the process. This is the first step in a multi-step process.
Right, but
So we're painting with a really broad brush right now, and I get your frustration. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be frustrated, but that's the process that's before us, is that we're gonna paint with a really broad brush to give them, how should I say this, the authority and set standards by which they can then sit down and figure out exactly what they wanna come back with. And then they have to come back to this board, and then we get to pick that apart. So, with details in nature. So,
Right.
This is kind of the first step in that process.
Well, I feel like you playing with our money because you don't want to cost the developers money.
So your taxes are not going anywhere. They're
I'm not
gonna go
talking-
up right now. This doesn't cost you anything at this point. It's just whether or not we're giving them authorization to be able to come up with a plan to bring back to you.
Right,
for
right. But what I'm saying
details,
is
so
why
it's not gonna cost you
can't,
anything.
why can't they come up with a plan first?
That's
You
not how the process
you don't, I'm just saying, you don't want to cost them. Well, he said it's, nobody wants to do it because it's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
It's too
but
expensive
you're
to
trying
them, maybe
put
they
the cart
shouldn't do
before
it.
the horse. That's not how this process works. The
And that-
process has been outlined and it's existed in the state of Indiana for,
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Greg, a century or so.
at least.
Well, this law, there's nothing we can do about it anyway. We just up here,
Sir, that's not true.
talking for no reason.
That's just not true.
So let me ask a question. These 9 lots what's on these lots now? One house on 9 lots. So you're getting no value from these 9 lots in your neighborhood. If you put brand-new duplexes on here, it's going to increase the value of your neighborhood.
Well, we get no crime from those empty lots either.
Pardon me?
We get no crime from those empty lots either.
Well, if that's the way you want to look at it, I guess you can. I mean, the whole idea,
But as it sits right now, the person that owns these lots could build houses on these
Yes.
lots.
he could
I mean,
build
there
nine,
could
he
be
could build
9
9
houses out
houses.
here.
That would be nice.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
He could walk in my office tomorrow and I could give him 9 permits for 9 different houses on these lots. And if that's what you want, but keep in mind, someone was already talking about more people coming in. And now you've got 9 single-family homes compared to maybe 3 or 4 duplexes.
So it would be the same situation. You said it would be nice if 9 single-family homes came, which would improve the lots and also improve your property value, which whatever repercussions come from that, you would be able to sell your homes for more in the long run. But yet, if in the same situation, if we're putting a multi-family home on that lot, the same thing would happen, then you don't feel the same about that.
I understand that, but a lot of us are over 60 years old, so we're not looking to sell and rebuy, Like my
Ultimately,
neighbor
what you
said,
want is for it to stay the same, and that's not one of the options.
Exactly.
The person that owns
That's
the
what I
lot
was
has
asking,
the ability to use the land.
That's all I was asking. And I mean, are we really gonna get anywhere with this meeting, or,
Unless you buy the property today or this week, you do not get to choose what happens on those properties.
Right. we're just concerned about the rezoning and what he's gonna do with the rezoning later on.
That
That's
remains to
forthcoming.
be seen.
Right.
But it'll all be done in a public meeting, and you'll have an opportunity to speak to that when that stage of the process comes along.
Any other points, sir?
Too many to mention.
Thank you for your input. Any other questions from the audience?
Hi, my name is Gwen, 1307 East Jefferson Street. And I have a question in regards to, I know they keep saying that we keep talking, the numbers keep going up. I just want to know, because now, you know, I know it's kind of comical, but you said 9 homes. That's not funny to me at all. Because first off, I went from the 4 units or 3 units or whatever you said at first to possibly 13 units. I want to know how many people are in these units. Like, are you talking about a duplex is one thing? So if you got 4 duplexes or you got 13 duplexes, you can go. The maximum, what's the maximum you said, the maximum? 15, I'm sorry. 15 units, I apologize for taking those 2 away. 15 units.
That's not 15 duplexes, that's 15 total units.
15 apartments, individual apartments, is that what you're saying? 15 apartments.
If they were apartments, that would be the maximum there could be.
Right.
But realistically,
I know, we doubt it'll be 15 apartments, we doubt it'll be 9 houses. We doubt it'll be, we can say all that doubting. My thing is, I'm just trying to think, you know, you're saying the parking. I know the lot you're talking, I know the area you're talking about. The parking, I don't know where the parking lot's gonna be. I don't know how we're gonna get them units in
When
there.
I come to the site plan,
The site plan,
so many of the questions during the site plan hearing is where you're gonna see that.
how do you get the information for this? Because the only reason I got this here was because a flyer was in my yard. There was nothing mailed to my home, there was nothing put in my mailbox. It was a flyer in the
Are
yard.
you an adjoining property owner, man?
I'm down the street.
Okay, well, you would not get a letter, because that's just for properties that adjoin these 9 lots. However, there will be a sign, on the
Right.
lots that says when the next meeting is. That will be there whenever that site plan.
Right,
is.
and on the bottom of that letter, it had a name, and I called the name, and to talk to the person, and they were getting back with me, they've yet to get back. So I just was, like I said, if the flyer hadn't been in the yard, I wouldn't known nothing about
What
this.
name was that? I don't,
I'll have to look on my letter, I can get it when I go back there and
was
see.
that a sign that was put in the yard?
No, it was a flyer,
Oh, okay.
One of your neighbors.
What-
That's
it
probably
was,
one of your neighbors did that, would be my guess.
they put it in the yard.
There'll be a sign in the
No,
yard?
no, it's a piece of paper, it's a piece of paper that has the information that you all have back here. It's a piece of paper where somebody, it came from the city building, and it said, plant. Yes,
Can I see that? Yeah, that's a notice from an adjoining property owner. Yeah, that's just an adjoining, that's it.
Right, like I said, that was just in my yard.
Yeah, so evidently somebody made copies of this and took it to the.
And just dropped it in the yard, or just blew in the
That's my
yard?
guess.
Okay, well, I was just glad it got in the yard, but anyway, that's, I just was saying, so when we vote tonight, we're voting to, agree on the 27th, and at that meeting, no,
No, we're not voting, all we're voting on tonight is to send it to city council.
Yeah.
They do the final say on a rezoning.
right, you're just saying it to say that they want to rezone, you're saying to pass, you're not voting to pass it or not, you're just,
We're making a recommendation to the city council.
you're making a recommendation to the city council that we change it from single family to multi.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. So once we say, okay, we agree to do that, then they make a final, they have another meeting where they discuss some things. 2 more meetings. I got that. 2 more meetings. On the 27th is the first one at 6 o'clock. It's not going to be changed. Okay. Now, once we do this vote tonight and we say, yeah, we agree to send it forward to go rezone. Once it's been forwarded to rezone, there ain't no come back and unzone.
Well, there is, because the council has to hear it for 2 meetings, so the council then ultimately decides yes or no.
Okay, so you guys are just passing the message forward.
Just a recommendation.
Okay, and then on the 27th, then we come back and we get to have some more questions, or get
If
some,
the city council votes for it on second reading.
Okay.
And votes to rezone, Then the next step in the process would be for the petitioner to get site plans to us that we will review, and then all the neighbors will be, letters will be sent out, the same thing that we did for this meeting.
Right.
And then that's when we will know exactly how many units, the parking schedule, all that will be on those plans that we can discuss at that.
Right. So once they've made the plans, that's a done deal. So once it's, no,
No, they make the plans, then they're gonna come back and they show them. And then they say, then you go through this book and you say, okay, did you meet everything that you were supposed
correct.
to meet? That's where
I guess what I'm trying to hear is, you all are just gonna say, hey, they said tonight they like for to change it from single to such a, this is their request. Boom. Then city gets it, they look at everything, then they say, okay, on the 27th, we're gonna have a meeting, we're gonna talk about it again. Then on the 27th, they talk about it, then they vote, they have 2 meetings. So on the second meeting, that's when they'll vote. But on this meeting on the 27th, we're just coming here like we're hearing tonight.
So we will vote on the 27th, and if it receives approval on the 27th, then it gets heard again. But it has to be voted on and passed twice
Okay,
for it to take effect.
okay.
So,
And then they would come back here with a potential site plan.
yeah, and I mean, that's, you know.
Right down the road,
it's
it's got a little minute.
I mean, what we're doing today is gonna have absolutely no effect on anybody's property value.
Right, I'm like,
Because we're just changing the zoning.
Right.
Nothing's being, you know, nobody's gonna go out there and start turning dirt and building things.
right, I got you on that. Okay,
Adjoining property owners will get a letter, and there'll be a new sign put on the property stating the date of what the meeting is.
right.
So there'll be
I
if it goes on, there'll be
understand.
another.
I guess what I'm trying to get is, once it's passed, and then they come back and say, or you'll, or whoever come back and say, here's what this is the idea, we're gonna do, instead of doing 4 units, we're gonna go ahead and do the 15. At that point, is 15 going to go up?
Well, if this board approves it, if they are able to show, I mean, if they were able to show that, yes, we can build 15 units, we can meet all of the setback standards, we can meet all of the parking standards, if they were able to do that, and this board approved it, then yes, that's potentially possible.
Then what, my question is, what makes it, if you can say that you can put a maximum of 15 on there, how did you come up with that? And then you can say, they gotta come back and prove it.
Because that's what the zoning classification that they're requesting, that is the maximum number of units within that zoning. So.
That
I mean,
but they have to
as
be,
a matter of that law, that's the most they could put on the property.
okay,
It's not to say that many will fit on this piece of property. It's to say that within that zoning standard, that's the most you could build.
Right, even if it was 20 acres.
If you had more land.
Even if it was 20 acres.
you know.
it's still
I just
gonna-
was
and
concerned with you all
goes
saying,
into
throwing out
you
the number
have
15, and then you said, now I'm hearing it's gotta pass all these rules and stuff, so I don't wanna hear 15, and then you tell me there's rules, but then when we come in here and vote, then it's like, we gonna do 15, we able to get, this little, we gonna make this one a little bit smaller, or,
I think some of that is in the effort of being transparent, that for this zoning classification, that is the most. So if Paul says 6 units and the developer decides 10, then that may not be very transparent with the community, because originally it was 6. So that's why the other larger numbers are stated. So that's really in an effort of transparency. So this is the most, but these zoning classifications have rules that have to happen. And that's what all of these words are, when they have to go by these. So the developer can't just change a zone and then say, I'll do whatever I want to. And change is difficult. Yes, likely better property values to go up than go down, right? You don't want that. But it's just gonna be different, and it's gonna be changed for a neighborhood that's been unchanged for quite some time, hopefully in a positive direction. And unfortunately, whoever owns that land has the ability to make that change. So if there didn't want to be any change, then someone else should have purchased the land. So that's just kind of where we sit. These are just the rules and guidelines in an effort to be transparent with the community. So that's the
fine.
worst case.
This is my first
Yeah.
one.
And that's why I wanted you to know that. It's a complicated process. That's why I said that.
I'll piggyback off of her. I mentioned 15 because the gentleman in the back said, well, you can just keep building higher and higher. Well, you have to stop at 15, where however high you want to build. You have to stop at 15 according to what if we were to approve it tonight. 15 is the max you can do, no matter, I mean, I don't care how high you build it, better have 50-foot ceilings. Because you're only getting 15 units, period.
Yeah, that's scary too.
And the zone does keep a developer from doing whatever they want.
Oh, yeah, I
Once
understand.
it's changed.
I understand
so
that.
that is a positive. It can't be more than what they've asked for in this passing of the zoning.
Right.
Well, for the
And John's saying that-
Recommendation.
But there really is a height
recommendation.
restriction too. You can only go so high.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say, I'm not trying to have what we got on the corner on Apperson. I'm not trying to be looking out my door and I'm seeing nothing but buildings, but.
We're not talking about high-rise buildings.
Right.
You cannot build that on this line. I promise you, with
Yeah.
what they're passing, that cannot be
Yeah.
built on this
Yeah,
line.
and I've been around the block a couple of times. Couldn't get 15.
It's fine. This is my first time. I just like to hear how. No, that's fine. I keep hearing y'all saying that, but okay, I'm gonna remember that.
Come back to the site plan. and
Oh,
see
trust me,
exactly
I'm
what's
back on
gonna be
27.
built.
Might come in on the 20th, just in case y'all hear me.
20th. So she can see.
My mother's Shy. She's Josie Alcala, 1239 East Jefferson. She's directly across the street from the dilapidated house that he's talking about. Wanted to say that she was hoping that you guys would say no tonight for one reason, that we understand there's 9 lots. However, we would only be, if you said 9 lots, yeah, you give him the thing and he does it, the gentleman that owns this, one house would be in front of her. If you're saying that you're going,
3 houses. There's 3 across there.
There's 3.
So there would be
okay, so you could put
across
3.
You can
Oh, okay.
put 3 across.
Well, if you could put that, that would be fine as well, the single. She stayed in this place and we decided to do, and make it refresh for her because of her neighbors. She wanted to age in place in this because, yes, it is not the best neighborhood, but her neighbors are the best. And I know that you guys are going to probably send this through with a yes because it doesn't impact you guys, but this has really given her a lot of issues. That's why I came to speak for her. She's really scared. She doesn't want 6 new homes or 9 new homes across the street. She knows all the people that she lives around. And she's very scared to have people come in there, and I'm scared for her. So I came from out of town because this is scary. She knows everybody around her now. And so she wish you guys would say no.
But
Thank you.
I was gonna say also, it's really difficult because we all have to back out, like my driveway's like almost directly in front of the driveway where you pull into that old house. And it's hard for me, I can't imagine cars coming up the same way, you have to back up. You can't, we don't have a circular drive. And it's already difficult for me to back up. I'm 80 years old, so, and I still drive, and I'm a good driver, but, you know, it's hard, and there's traffic, a lot of traffic on Jefferson. You might not think so because you don't live there. I've lived there for 35 years.
Yeah, they do. So, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions from the board before I call for a vote? You have something new, sir? I find that hard to believe, but we'll listen to it.
I just want to say, actually, mainly for the audience, I have a lot next to those, and if they do start, if the owner wants to buy my lot, I'm gonna sell it to him, maybe. So y'all might be. That's all I'll let y'all know.
Thank you.
That's all I heard.
We grew up together. He would not sell that lot because I know his father. His father was a councilman.
Any other questions for the board before I call for a vote? All in favor of case P25Z25, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. It now goes to the common council and will be represented there by Councilman Griecu.
On the
See you all on the
27th.
27th. 6 o'clock, this room.
6 o'clock.
one more.
Folks, we have some more business to, no, it's fine. If you could go out in the hall, we would certainly appreciate it so we can finish up. Thank you.
We're ready, sir.
Okay, the next case is case P 26Z25, the petition of Fulton Daniel L. Trust, requesting the Kokomo City Plan Commission petition recommending the Kokomo Common Council for change in zone classification from R1 very low density residential and agricultural to PR Parks and Recreation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Someone here to represent this case, please come forward.
My name is Mike Circle. I live at 1613 South, 500 East Kokomo, Indiana. We're asking to get this rezoned to Parks and Rec. We're looking to build a low impact, and it's also going to be short-term stay RV park. So that will fulfill some of the needs of people coming in for the baseball park when there's an overflow for the veterans. And then we're trying to keep it as a short-term endeavor, not build a mobile home park out of it. We're going to try to keep it around 14 days stay at maximum. So,
Any questions from the board before we have staff report? Director Sheila.
Staff report for case P 26Z25, Daniel Fulton is requesting change in zone classification. This area is located within the US 31 Office Industrial Agricultural Overlay. This overlay is designated to preserve existing farmland in the area. However, the zone allows future developments to occur such as industrial or technology park and corporate office campus that needs visibility and good accessibility to US 31. It is anticipated that the zone will serve as a future employment production center in the region. The petitioner plans to combine both lots contingent on rezoning passes. Also, the petitioner was made aware of the August 11th pre-application meeting. Parcel zoned as agricultural would have to be subdivided. The adjoining property uses and zonings are to the north agricultural and C2 small to medium scale general commercial, to the south agricultural and RR rural residential, and to the east agricultural and to the west agricultural and agricultural rural residential. According to the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map, the property shown above is located in an area designated for office, high-tech, light industrial. This area has been designated for employment centers that utilize medium to large-scale parking lots. Also, these facilities have low traffic, environmental, or aesthetic impact on surrounding areas. Land use goals to encourage orderly and responsible development to promote health, safety, and quality of life for residents in the City of Kokomo, while maintaining Kokomo as a leading community for affordable housing. Relevant land use objectives are to encourage adequate land for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. Designate specific districts in the community suitable for residential, commercial, industrial, institutional, and recreational uses. The goal of the City of Kokomo Comprehensive Plan Transportation Map is to enhance connections throughout the city for improved safety function and efficiency for all modes of transportation, including vehicular, bicycle, and pedestrian networks. According to the transportation map, this area of South 150 East is defined as a local street. A local street is designated to provide access to abutting properties and discourage through traffic. Closest traffic count for this area of South 150 East is 6,123 cars per day. The requested zoning change is compatible with all base zonings. However, it is not compatible with the standards per the Office Industrial Agricultural Overlay District. Zones M1, OC, and Ag are the base zones for this sub-district. Therefore, the staff desires that the board forward a favorable recommendation to the Kokomo Common Council based on the information presented by the petitioner.
Any questions from the board? Now we've had staff report.
The one lot looks like it has a on, which I assume is because of the 31 bypass.
yes, sir.
Are you filling that in?
No,
Or are you
sir.
just building on the banks?
No, sir, we're gonna build around it, and that's actually gonna be a center point. It's currently stocked, there's fish in it.
Like lakefront?
It's not gonna be like a lakefront, we're gonna put a few docks out there, be able to put canoes in and, take their kids out, have a good time, so.
So you mentioned that this was to help relieve pressure with the ball field and that. Are you looking at putting RVs out there that you would rent? Or is it just gonna be lots that people would bring their own RV and?
It'll just be lots currently that people bring their own RV. is what the plan, and that's why we want to keep it short-term stay, because we don't want it to end up like some of these other ones I've seen up in Peru, where they're putting trailers on it and guys are coming here for the battery plant and staying. We're trying to keep that from happening there.
Okay. Do you have a feel for how many lots there?
So
will be?
proposed with just the map we drew was around 70 to 75, but we actually are working with Mrs. Tripp, and she's going to be our civil engineer, and so she will actually be able to, when that site plan comes, to tell us what we can truly put on that. From my experience building, I don't know if we truly even get 75 on there. So,
And what type of hookups are you looking at?
so we will have water, sewage, and electric on sites.
Full hookup.
Full hookup. Which, once again, that will all come if we pass the rezoning with Mrs. Trichter. So.
You've discussed sewage with Taylor Sewer District?
Yes, we have spoke with the Taylor Sewage District. My father-in-law and sister-in-law, they are currently on vacation. That's why I'm here representing. They are working with, do you remember his name? I can't remember the guy that runs it, but they are working with him to, actually her house flooded on that with the 7 inches of rain. Her house is currently on that. So we are working with them. I think they were talking about setting a couple grinder pumps to pump everything out of there. So
Their whole system is based on that.
yes, it's a kind of a mess sometimes. So.
Any other questions from the board?
I have one. So it sounds like, I guess I just wanted to confirm that you would have processes in place. I know it sounds crazy and no one in Kokomo would ever do this, to buy a camper to find a place to live when they have a difficult.
That's exactly what we're trying to avoid, is no long-term staying. So currently, if you go to a state park, I think you can stay 10 or 14 days. You must vacate the property for like 2 days or 3 days, something along them lines. So we're gonna kind of follow that same state park rule where you cannot come and just pop your RV in there for the whole summertime and live there. I get what you're saying. We're trying to avoid what's happened at the old trailer park that's up here on the northwest side of the county, where they have now brought in RVs and everything like that up there. So we're trying to avoid that. We want to make it towards a short-term stay. So.
Is there anything within this ordinance that would prevent long-term stay?
Not in the ordinance per se, because I don't believe you're gonna be open year-round, correct?
Correct. It would be open spring to fall
Yeah,
type
so
situation.
Where I camp in Brown County, I set my camper there in April, and I can camp there anytime I want to between April and October. But by the end of October, I have to vacate.
Sure.
And you can't have, so they're the ones that would be setting the standard, because they're only gonna be open 6 months out of the year anyway. or
Pretty much,
maybe
yeah.
7.
If we get an Indian summer type thing, yeah.
Maybe 7 months, so yes, that would stop the
Someone in
long term.
Kokomo that would move in, just nothing time on her.
And if they're only going to allow people there for 14 days, that makes it even.
Well, yeah,
Even
absolutely. I just didn't know if there was anything within the zoning ordinance that would, under the parks.
Well, you can't stay, you can't live in a RV, in the city limits. You can't live in it for long term,
But people do.
right?
I think so. I don't know.
No,
I know you.
Yeah, he's right.
I know, yeah.
You're my camper.
So we would not allow that.
So
Yes.
in a parks and recreational zoning, that's not
Correct.
permissible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a substitute for M2.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, it's.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, that's my question is, well, I can read yours.
Well, again, if the campground owners decided in their.
I understand that, but if they sell the campground,
Okay,
I mean, and the new owners decide, yeah, we're gonna just, I mean, that's my question
right,
is,
gotcha.
before
I get that.
we do this, I'd like to understand what the
Well,
long-term implications are.
Number one, being a camper, yeah, steal it, just keep it. Being a camper myself, if you're going, especially in this part of the country, where even though we've had some mild winters, we know that they're not always mild. If you're going to 4 seasons of campground, that's very costly.
Yeah.
Extremely costly to do that. Everything has to be buried underground, certain levels, just like plumbing in a house.
Sure.
So it's, unless you're opening up a campground for a Four Seasons Campground, you're not going to put that kind of money into it.
You're exactly
to have
correct.
Are you planning on pouring, foundation pads for?
So what we're planning on using is GeoCell. Does anybody know what that is here? So it's a grid mat that would go down, and they use it in agricultural, and then it will get filled with gravel. So it'd be a low impact design on the land out there. And it'll get filled with gravel. It's about yay tall, and it's just a big mat, and they'll get laid as the pads, and then as the roads. They get backfilled with gravel compacted. So there will be no big concrete slabs out there other than, there'll probably be a maintenance building, obviously, and there'll be like a clubhouse with a little shopette there. So.
That actually works better for drainage.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, and that's why we're looking at that, because of the drainage out there,
Correct.
so.
Less impervious.
Yes. correct.
Yes,
The GeoCell helps contain the gravel too that you're
Yep.
gonna put down.
yes, 100%. So it won't erode on top, we won't have erosion, plus we won't have to put in more drainage, more tile, thing like that, so.
So, on this office industrial agricultural overlay district, this is a question for Greg. It's not compatible, and that district supersedes the base zoning because it's an overlay, correct?
Correct.
So, I guess that's maybe my issue with it, but you guys are the board, I'm just the attorney. That it's not compatible. My second issue is that under the comprehensive plan, it's reserved for industrial, technology park, or farmland, which is not this. I just want to bring that to the board's attention.
Well, I would say,
And I'll give you, obviously, a shot to respond to that, but that was not what was earmarked under the comprehensive plan.
correct, I would say that the circumstance that changes that is the gigantic pond in the middle of it is not conducive to that use.
Okay.
In its current state.
Yeah, it's 30-foot deep also, so
Yeah.
to fill that
So-
pond would be,
You know, I mean,
Very
it's
costly.
not gonna be conducive to industrial use or anything, because it's a relatively narrow, I mean, you probably just have enough room to have a road go around that and back up at RV in.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're not gonna be able to build an office building in there without filling part of that pond in, which
Mm-mm.
is gonna be cost
well, and there's a Theodore drain that runs in there, so
Yeah,
they would
there's a
never
drain
be able to
right
build
there.
an office building there, because their lot where their building would sit on that drain,
And
and they can't
access-
put a permanent structure over it.
Access is somewhat limited, you're never gonna get an access out to 31.
So access is another point.
So my
Are you
per-
going to restrict the number of vehicles per site?
Yes, yeah, we will have to do that, and then,
You know, camping, that's oftentimes a situation where you have a maximum number of vehicles that are allowed.
yes, we will do that, and we're going to, on our actual, once everything's up and running, we're gonna wanna bring everybody down County Line Road, and then come back up instead of through the city of Oakford there, and next to Hayes Brothers, because that's kind of a tight turn, so if they come down County Line, they'd come under the overpass there for the bypass, which opens up a lot more area, a lot less traffic for the neighbors. There might be some regular traffic, but we're gonna propose that any visitors come down up 31 and come down County Line and come into our 150 East into the park that way, so.
So do you know what your restriction would be on parking on the sites?
I do not know that off the top of my head I would like to keep it personally, probably maybe 2 vehicles.
That's what most campgrounds.
That's what most are.
It's two per.
It may just be 1. It's all gonna depend on what Mrs. Tripp can build with our sites, once she does our site plan. But I can't see more than 2, maybe basically the tow vehicle and then an additional vehicle other than an RV. So.
Yeah, and I do want to say, I completely agree with what Mr. Ethlick said about comprehensive plan, but as John said, our staff, we talked about this at length, after our pre-app meeting, that pond changed everything, because it's just not conducive for anything else, other than something like this. If you look at how big that pond is, and then you look at how narrow it is around there, you know, you can get RVs in there, and that's.
The pond's a little over
really,
10.
That's about it.
Yeah, the pond's a little over 10 acres of the 24 acres of
Yeah.
property. So-
And I don't think having an RV park out there would necessarily preclude the land to the northeast
No,
from being
no.
used as industrial if they so want.
Sure.
But this particular piece, as it sits right now, you're not gonna put an office building on it.
Who controls the detention pond? Is that the state?
The owner, I suspect,
I believe it's us.
yeah. I think they just,
Oh, it's not runoff control for 31?
Not that I know
I think it
of.
was a borrow pit to build.
I'm pretty
the
sure because-
approaches to the overpass.
We have we've cut down and we have found a lot of dumped concrete and things in the back from where they built that highway. I think they used that, cause there's one there's one over by Blazer's Farm. And I think what they did was they dug them out for the limestone, for their gravel bed. It's a lot cheaper to buy the land and dig it out than it is to have it all hauled in from the quarry. So.
They did that all up and down that stretch. They bought property.
Right,
They
and
bought the
they're
rights to-
there when
to
you see
dig
them,
that.
so.
Because it was owned by an aggregate company before it was sold to the two prior owners than us. So
Yeah, that was a borrow pit for the third construction, yes.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience?
Hello, my name's Virginia Clark. I'm 4210 South, 125 East. I'm the land that's right next to the field where it used to be a cornfield. Okay, what my question is, I really don't understand what all's going on because we don't have a sewer system come down. It's not 140, actually it's 125 East. The road's at an angle and there's different addresses on that road. But it's actually 125 is what our sign says. And what I'm worried about is the sewer system didn't make it all the way down to where I live. And I'm right next to the property that they bought. So right now, there's no finger system coming in. So we have to go through Christopher. He's the sewer system guy.
For Taylor.
For Taylor System. You know who I'm
And that's who
talking
they're
about.
going through, yes.
Right. So they came out and they've been digging along the railroad track and it's a lot. So if they get this brought in, I have to close down my septic tank. It's going to cost me like $15,000 to $20,000 because I have to close down my septic tank, shut it down, and hook up to the grinder system. Now that the rest of the town of Oakford's got the grinder system, but back originally 20 years ago, they couldn't get it to me. So now I'm going to be paying out that kind of money for them to have the grinder system on their property. And that's why I'm really, really concerned about this.
I don't know exactly why they are charging you for that.
Okay, because 20 years ago, the sewer system came to Oakford, and the town hooked up to it. I paid in a fee for a few months, and then when they brought it to town, they figured out that they couldn't get it to where I live. I'm the last house out of the town, so 125 East didn't get the system. Well, now, because of all of this, they came out with the backhoes and everything, and they dug it up, and they found where the hose was. You can drive down my road and see it, where they've dug up the hose and it's sticking up in the ground. But right now, there isn't no gas. The gas stops at my house. They've already got their little signs up for the gas line to come in. There's no grinder system to that property. It don't come that far. It will have to be brought in.
Correct, yep.
And that's going to cost the homeowners on that 125 East to hook up to it. And my question
So
is,
they're mandating that you hook up to
They're
it.
saying that you have to hook up to them?
yeah, if they get this system, I mean, they're not going to be on a sewer
Only if you're
system.
septic. My understanding, and I have limited knowledge, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but
Only if the
my
septic
understanding
fails.
is if the sewer is available and your septic fails, then you can be forced to connect to that. Because I know there's a lot, isn't Taylor Sewer District doing a lot of changes right now?
They've been
And
through,
they're trying to
I
assess
think they went
everybody.
about bankrupt,
Yeah.
and I heard something about a brand-new home getting flooded out, brand-new home.
Right. And my understanding is they're going through a lot of changes, which they're separately regulated by the IURC, which is the Indiana Utility Regulation Commission. And they
But see-
do have certain rights as a utility, but my understanding is they cannot force you to hook up unless your septic system fails. And if it fails and there's sewer available to hook up now that you were the last on the lot and you didn't make the line before, then they can force you to do that. But I don't know what the septic life is left.
Well, what I'm saying is I'll have to pay like $89, the cost right now,
Right.
monthly, to be on that finger system.
If you join it.
If you join.
But I'll have to if they hook up.
Why?
I think that if you're on the Taylor, whether you have septic.
300
or not,
feet.
I think you have to pay it's like a tax. I think you have to pay it no matter what.
Yeah.
Is it or no?
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Crazy. That's my understanding. And I could be mistaken.
Well,
So if you get all
we
these,
don't do that in the city of Kokomo.
we got annexed. Where I'm at now, I have free trash because we were annexed. So I guess I am partially city of Kokomo with an Oakford address.
You are.
So what I'm saying is, if you bring in all these campers, where's their sewer gonna go? Are they gonna dump into the main? Are they gonna be getting a monthly bill like me for $89 a month for
They're gonna
75?
pay a heck of
We're
a
gonna
lot
pay a
more
lot
than
more
that.
than
I mean, it's a really good question.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no.
Yeah.
They'll have to pay a proportional, I mean, it'll be based on their usage more so, or expected usage. It won't just be like a regular homeowner.
Because they're only gonna be there 6 months out of the year?
No, because they're gonna have a lot more people.
70
They're gonna have to
trailers.
pay more, because they're gonna have, if they have 75 RVs out there, they're gonna have to pay a much higher fee than a regular homeowner.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to pay $15,000 just to close mine down.
I don't
And
think
it's
you have to
working.
pay 15K to connect until your septic fails. Then you might have to pay that.
Yeah, but I'll still have to pay the $89,
I-
where I'm
that-
not paying nothing at all
I
right
don't want
now.
to speak out of turn. That is my understanding, but that's separately regulated from this board. We have nothing to do with the IURC or the Taylor.
I'm just saying, it affects me big time.
At some point, wouldn't Barrett Law come into play in that, if she had to connect to it at some point?
If there was enough owner,
If she's
I don't
the
know.
last house, no,
Yeah,
there wouldn't be enough for, because don't you have to have like 50%?
certain
for
number
Barrett
for
Law?
Barrett Law. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't think this development would cause your $89. I think, and I hate that this is being recorded because I don't know the exact answer on this, but I think you have to pay the 89 no matter what if you're within
matter
the
what.
Taylor Sewer District. But you don't have to pay the 15K or I heard it was 5K to connect, the cost approximately. But if your septic fails, if it's 40 years old and it fails, yeah, then they can force you to connect.
Okay, and also where they're gonna be coming in to go into the back of that borrow pit, is that gonna be right next to my property?
That'll be forthcoming after they work with Ms. Tripp on site plan and development.
We're not to that point yet.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a lot of traffic for next to my
And I know that
house.
The entrance is not planned to be, at her property, it's planned to be in the center of the front of the property. The road that goes around the property, but we are not gonna bring them in on your side of the property.
Will there be an exit there for them to
They
do
will come
that?
back out the same exit, it'll be a one-way travel around, back out. It will not come to your side of the property. The
Thank
actual-
goodness for that, that's a lot of traffic.
Yes, I understand your concerns, and I built a house out there 2 years ago, the tap fee was $7,500 to tie into that. What I understand of my knowledge of building homes, they cannot force you to tie into that, like TJ was saying, because you still have a working septic system. They can only force it when your septic system fails. We built brand new houses, so we've been around.
And the other part of that is, that tap fee is gonna be a fraction of what the cost of putting in a new septic system.
$30,000 for a new septic system.
So to pay the $2,500 to join that once it's available.
Let's
if
hope
you
it
have-
works.
If you have a septic issue, is going to be a much, much less fee than what you would have to pay to replace your septic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean, in the long run, that's a benefit. I mean,
Yeah, and that's actually a state law, it's not even Taylor Sewer District.
Right.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of case P26Z25, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. It now goes to the common council presented there by Councilman Richu.
on the 27th.
27?
27th.
Thank you.
You're over that, aren't you?
Anything on other business, Director Schilling?
I have nothing under other business.
Next on the agenda is approval of claims.
I move to approve claims in the amount of $33,891.33. $33,891.33.
Can I have a second, please? Second. All in favor of approval of claims, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Claims are approved. Need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.